The gathering storm. Earth had always been seen as weak, a small blue planet on the edge of the galaxy. The great empires of the galaxy had grown used to conquering weaker civilizations, and Earth was just another target. For years, Earth had remained hidden, its military forces outdated and unprepared for any large-scale attack. The alien races who ruled the galaxy knew this. They had sent their scouts, studied the planet, and laughed at its defenses. Earth was defenseless, they thought. There was nothing here that could threaten their control. But something was different this time. The first warning came quietly. A distant signal, faint and barely detectable, was picked up by one of the alien fleets. At first, the alien officers thought it was just interference, a glitch in their systems. But the signal didn't disappear. It grew stronger. It was like a pulse, faint but constant, coming from deep within Earth's orbit. The alien fleet commanders scoffed. They had seen no sign of life from Earth for centuries. They knew the humans were primitive and weak. What could they possibly be planning? But still, a nagging feeling remained in the back of their minds. Something wasn't right. Back on Earth, the leaders of humanity had long known this day would come. They had prepared for it in secret, building something beyond anyone's imagination. For decades, humans had worked tirelessly, developing technology that would allow them to defend their home. They knew that the aliens would come. They knew they would try to conquer Earth, but they also knew that the human spirit could not be defeated so easily. The signal from Earth had been part of the plan. It was a small, subtle message, just enough to stir the curiosity of the aliens, just enough to make them think there was something to fear. It was a test to see if the alien fleets were paying attention. As the aliens gathered their forces, preparing for the invasion of Earth, they remained unaware of the true strength that lay hidden beneath the planet's surface. The fleets were massive, thousands of ships ready to unleash destruction upon the defenseless world. The alien leaders were confident. They had already conquered so many civilizations. What could Earth possibly have to stop them? But Earth was not as defenseless as they believed. For the first time, the aliens were beginning to sense something was wrong. The signals from Earth were increasing. They were no longer faint. They were strong, deliberate. Something was about to happen. The first wave of alien ships moved toward Earth, their engines roaring with power. Their mission was simple: destroy any resistance, take control of the planet, and begin harvesting its resources. They would break Earth's defenses with ease, or so they thought. As they neared the planet, the alien commanders began to feel the weight of uncertainty. What had they missed? Why had Earth's signal become so strong? They had ignored it at first, thinking it was nothing. But now, it was too loud to ignore. They couldn't shake the feeling that something was waiting for them. Something powerful. Something unexpected. The alien fleet was vast, covering the sky like a cloud of metal and firepower. The ships were designed for war, equipped with weapons capable of decimating entire planets. The fleet moved with purpose, organized and efficient. They were confident that no one could stand against them. But as they entered Earth's atmosphere, something changed. The skies darkened, not with clouds, but with the silhouette of a ship, the first ship of Earth's hidden fleet. At first, it was just a shape against the stars, barely visible, but as it moved closer, it became clear that this was no ordinary ship. The humans had kept their secret well. They had built this fleet in the deepest, most hidden parts of the Earth, far from the eyes of alien spies. They had been waiting for this moment. They had been waiting for the alien fleets to think they were invincible. Now the humans were ready to strike. As the alien fleet drew closer to Earth's surface, the ship grew larger. And then another appeared, and another. Soon, the sky was filled with Earth's ships, each one sleek, advanced, and deadly. They were unlike anything the aliens had ever seen. The alien commanders were stunned. They had never expected this. They had underestimated the humans. And now, they were paying the price for their arrogance. The first ship fired. A single precise shot that struck the nearest alien ship. The alien vessel shook as its systems were overloaded, sparks flying from its hull. The other alien ships reacted quickly, but it was too late. The human fleet had arrived. The aliens had made a grave mistake. They had thought Earth was defenseless, an easy target. But they were wrong. The humans had prepared for this day for years, and now Earth's most powerful fleet was ready to defend its home. The battle was about to begin, and the aliens were not prepared for the storm that was coming. They thought they had everything under control, but now they were about to learn the hard way that humanity could not be underestimated. Earth's fleet was here, and it was ready to fight. The alien fleet had been advancing with relentless confidence, certain that Earth's defenses were nothing more than myth. They had heard stories, but dismissed them as primitive fantasies. The galaxy's greatest military powers, the ones that controlled the farthest reaches of space, had long since laughed at humanity's pitiful attempt to protect their planet. They thought Earth's isolation had left it weak, vulnerable, and ripe for the picking. But now, as they faced the unexpected fury of Earth's hidden fleet, their confidence was quickly turning to fear. The first shot from Earth's fleet had been a clear message, a warning shot that rang out through the void of space, carrying a resounding impact. The alien warship that was struck trembled violently as its shields flickered and failed, and the explosion tore through its hull. It was a precise, strategic strike, a single blast that crippled one of the largest ships in the alien fleet. The shockwave rippled outward, sending the surrounding alien vessels into a state of chaos as they scrambled to respond. The humans weren't just defending, they were fighting with the fury of a species that had been underestimated for far too long. The ships of Earth, though far fewer in number, were built for one purpose: to defend the planet at any cost. Unlike the alien ships, which had been built for conquest and intimidation, Earth's fleet was designed with precision, speed, and power. Each ship was a weapon, crafted with advanced technology that the galaxy had never seen before. The aliens attempted to retaliate, their weapons charging as they aimed at Earth's fleet. But what the invaders didn't understand was the sheer speed and agility of humanity's ships. They had no time to react as Earth's warships darted in and out of the alien formation, firing devastating energy blasts that shredded the hulls of enemy ships. The aliens had no time to regroup, no time to adjust to the ferocity of the humans' assault. As the battle raged on, the humans' tactics became clear. They had a deep understanding of their enemies' weaknesses. The aliens, accustomed to fighting wars on their terms, had underestimated the cleverness of Earth's engineers. The human fleet was smaller, but each ship was a fortress, and each attack was a surgical strike. With every move, the aliens felt their grip on the situation slipping. Earth's fleet moved with the precision of a predator, closing in on their prey with unrelenting force. The alien ships, though vastly more numerous, were being systematically taken down one by one. Their massive warships, built to crush lesser civilizations, found themselves outmaneuvered and outgunned. The speed of the human ships made it nearly impossible for the alien forces to lock onto their targets. Their weapons, powerful but slow to charge, were ineffective against the humans' rapid-fire tactics. The alien commanders, once so confident in their overwhelming strength, were now scrambling to reorganize their forces. The sheer surprise of the human attack had thrown them into disarray. They hadn't expected Earth's fleet to be anything more than a glorified defense force. But what they were seeing was something entirely different, something far more dangerous. The alien leader, Admiral Zorath, watched in horror as his flagship took a direct hit, its shields flickering out before the second shot hit the core. The ship exploded in a violent burst of fire and debris, sending shockwaves through the surrounding alien vessels. Zorath's hand clenched around the control panel, his mind racing to find a way to salvage the situation. But the more he tried to command his fleet, the more he realized that the human ships were not just defending. They were hunting. The human fleet was relentless, its warships weaving through the debris of fallen alien vessels, avoiding fire while returning deadly shots. Earth's engineers had prepared for this moment, knowing the aliens would come with their overwhelming numbers. The humans had fought for centuries to protect their world, and now all their effort and ingenuity were being put to the test. The alien forces were beginning to lose their coordination. Ships that once moved in perfect unison were now scattered, struggling to keep pace with the human fleet's calculated onslaught. The Earth's ships had been designed for this very moment, to strike hard, fast, and with lethal precision. Each ship carried a crew of highly trained personnel, veterans who had trained for this very war for years. They understood what was at stake and were willing to give their lives for the defense of their planet. Meanwhile, on Earth's surface, the people watched in awe and disbelief as the war in space unfolded before them. The government had kept the existence of the fleet a secret for decades, and now the world was seeing the proof of humanity's strength. Citizens gathered in front of screens, their hearts pounding with every update. They had known their planet was special, but now they saw that they weren't alone in their fight for survival. The entire planet was united in one cause: survival. As Earth's fleet continued its assault, the atmosphere aboard the alien ships began to shift. The aliens, who had been certain of victory, were now questioning everything they had known. They had never expected Earth to fight back. The idea of human victory was laughable. Yet, here they were, struggling to hold their ground against a force they hadn't anticipated. Admiral Zorath barked orders, trying desperately to rally his forces. "Hold formation. Push them back," he shouted, but the humans were already moving in again. They were like a swarm of bees, agile, fast, and stinging with precision. The aliens had entered this fight believing they would conquer Earth with ease, but now they were learning the hard truth. Humanity was not a weak, defenseless species. The storm had arrived, and it was Earth's turn to strike. The battle had entered its third day, and the space around Earth was now a chaotic battleground. The once orderly ranks of the alien fleet had dissolved into a mess of burning ships and fragmented debris. Their large warships, so confident just days before, now floated aimlessly, vulnerable to the lightning-fast human warships that darted in and out of their formations. The humans were relentless, refusing to allow the invaders any opportunity to regroup. Admiral Zorath, leader of the alien fleet, stood on the bridge of his flagship, his fists clenched in frustration. His once pristine vessel was now riddled with battle scars, its shields flickering as another barrage of fire from Earth's fleet struck. His warriors were no longer the fearsome force that had arrived in orbit. They were now just survivors, fighting to escape the inevitable. "Captain," Zorath bellowed, his voice shaking with anger, "give me a status report. How many ships are we losing?" The captain, visibly shaken, scanned the holographic displays before answering. "Admiral, we've lost 40% of our fleet. Our reinforcements are still hours away, and we have no way of holding off the humans for that long." Zorath's mind raced. The plan had been simple: invade Earth, destroy their defenses, and claim the planet's resources. But the humans were not only defending their home, they were fighting like their very existence depended on it. And in a way it did. As Zorath's flagship continued to falter under Earth's assault, Sarah Winters, commander of the human fleet, stood in her own command center. Despite the incredible success Earth had achieved so far, she knew this was just the beginning. Every victory came at a cost, and they couldn't afford to let up now. The alien reinforcements, once thought to be on their way, had yet to arrive, and that worried her. Time was not on their side. "Admiral Winters," came the voice of Lieutenant Miller, her trusted officer. "We're receiving strange transmissions. It's coming from the outer edge of the enemy fleet. Alien ships are retreating. Something's wrong." The sudden wave of retreating enemy vessels sent a shock of excitement through the human fleet, but Sarah's heart sank when she realized the implications. "Hold on," she said, her voice steady but filled with concern. "This might be a trap. They want us to follow them." "Do you think they're trying to lure us in?" Miller asked, his voice filled with skepticism. "They could be trying to set a trap." Sarah Winters looked out at the battlefield, her eyes narrowing. She had anticipated every move, every counter, but this was different. The aliens had been on the defensive for so long that it was hard to imagine them turning the tables now. But one thing was clear: the battle was far from over. If the aliens were retreating, they were doing so for a reason. "They're not retreating. They're repositioning," Sarah muttered under her breath. "Get me all fleet commanders. We're going after them." Sarah made her decision quickly. She couldn't afford to let the aliens regroup. Earth's fleet was already severely outnumbered, but they had the advantage of speed and strategy. She had to keep the pressure on them before they could call in reinforcements. The humans had to finish the job now. The command was relayed throughout the fleet, and soon Earth's warships were moving in formation, heading toward the center of the alien fleet where the remaining warships were clustering. The humans had no intention of letting them escape. Earth's ships, smaller but faster, made their way into the heart of the alien forces, preparing for the next stage of the conflict. Zorath, meanwhile, was growing desperate. His fleet was breaking apart, and without reinforcements, they would be wiped out. He knew the humans had only one weakness: their inexperience. If he could regroup, perhaps he could use that against them. But time was running out. "Captain, I want every ship to fall back to the coordinates," Zorath ordered, his voice cold with calculation. "We will make our stand there." The alien ships, now in disarray, attempted to form a last-ditch defensive line. But the humans were moving too quickly. They had already surrounded the cluster of alien vessels before they even had time to fully reorganize. The first wave of fire from Earth's ships tore through the alien lines, blasting through shields and ripping apart hulls with laser accuracy. Sarah Winters watched as her fleet moved in, a mixture of excitement and tension in her chest. This was the moment. The tide had turned, and they couldn't afford to let it slip away. "Admiral, we're in position," Lieutenant Miller reported, his voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through him. "We're ready to finish this." "Prepare for the final assault," Sarah ordered. "Let's give them everything we've got." With a single command, Earth's fleet unleashed everything they had. Laser beams, plasma cannons, and missile barrages rained down upon the alien forces. The skies lit up with explosions as the alien ships struggled to maintain their formation. The humans had caught them off guard, and now they were paying the price. The balance of power had shifted, and it was Earth's turn to dominate. Admiral Zorath's last-ditch efforts were futile. His fleet was disintegrating under the unrelenting assault. The enemy ships that remained were quickly overwhelmed, their shields failing as their systems overloaded from the sheer intensity of the human bombardment. "We are losing, Admiral," the captain of Zorath's flagship said, his voice breaking. "The fleet is in disarray. We can't fight back. We need to retreat. Now." Zorath stood frozen, his face pale as he looked out at the unfolding chaos. The alien forces were crumbling before him. There was no escape. Earth had won. As the last alien ships began to break apart under the combined assault of Earth's fleet, Zorath realized the harsh truth. Earth was not the helpless planet they had assumed. It had been a powerful enemy all along. And now, the galaxy would know that humanity was a force to be reckoned with. The battle had entered a new phase, and the survivors from the alien fleet were doing everything they could to regroup. Zorath's flagship, once proud and mighty, was now a dying ember in the middle of the battlefield. Its once glorious hull was pocked with holes, and the engines barely functioned as the ship drifted in the vast emptiness of space. Zorath stood at the helm, watching the debris of his fleet scatter into the void. "Admiral," the captain spoke, his voice trembling, "the remaining ships are retreating, but we are no longer a threat to Earth. They have crushed us." Zorath's eyes narrowed. He had thought the battle was lost, but something in his heart refused to believe that this would be the end. He had seen the humans fight fiercely, and with unprecedented determination, but they were not invincible. He knew that as long as he had one ship left, he could still strike back. The humans had shown their hand, but they had underestimated him just as much as he had underestimated them. "Prepare the escape pods," Zorath ordered, his voice low and cold. "We will retreat to the hidden base. Earth may have won this battle, but the war is far from over." As the final remnants of the alien fleet fled, Earth's forces pressed forward, confident that they had secured victory. The humans didn't know that in the vast expanse of the galaxy, beyond their reach, Zorath had hidden a secret, a base hidden from the humans' radar, where reinforcements awaited. It was the last chance the aliens had to recover from this defeat and strike again. But even as Zorath made plans for a counterattack, the human fleet wasn't backing down. Sarah Winters, the admiral of the human fleet, surveyed the aftermath. Her ships were intact, but the battle had taken a toll on their numbers. Despite the victory, she knew the war was far from over. The aliens were regrouping, and she couldn't afford to let them rebuild. Earth had held its own for the moment, but in the back of her mind, she knew the aliens' greatest strength was their relentless will to survive. The humans had to press on. "Lieutenant Miller, status report," Sarah demanded, her eyes scanning the damage reports. "Admiral, we've sustained damage, but nothing we can't fix. We're ready for the next wave, if it comes. Our ships have their orders, but we can't just wait. The aliens are regrouping. We have to strike before they get their strength back." Sarah nodded, gripping the edge of her command chair. "You're right. If we don't act now, we risk giving them time to retaliate. It's clear now that this was never just about Earth. The galaxy is at stake. We have to finish this. Now." Sarah Winters' strategy was simple. No more waiting. No more holding back. They had taken down the alien fleet once, and it was time to do it again before the enemy could rebuild. The fleet sped toward the coordinates that the alien forces had used for their retreat. Earth's warships lined up, each one carrying the weight of their mission on their shoulders. Every ship, every crew member knew what was at stake. They had to wipe out the remaining threat, or the galaxy would never be safe from the aliens again. Zorath, hidden on his flagship's escape pod, stared at the blank screen before him. His heart raced, but he had one chance, one final play. The fleet might be broken, but they had one last secret weapon. He wasn't about to give up. He had been in worse situations before, and somehow he had always managed to survive. "Captain," Zorath said, his voice calm despite the chaos, "activate the base's defenses. It's time we remind them what we are capable of." The captain nodded solemnly and pushed a series of buttons on the control panel. A low hum echoed throughout the ship as hidden systems came to life. The flagship had a hidden armament, more advanced and powerful than anything Earth's fleet had ever encountered. It was their final card, one they had kept secret for just such an occasion. As Zorath's ship silently drifted toward the outer regions of Earth's reach, the rest of the fleet fled in different directions, some to regroup, others to find the hidden base. Meanwhile, Earth's forces were closing in. Sarah Winters stood at the front of her command ship, observing the alien movements. Her face was set with determination as she watched the screen in front of her. She knew the fight was about to get worse. "They're preparing something," Lieutenant Miller reported. "They're heading toward the outer system. They have something we haven't seen yet. We've only got one chance to strike before they launch whatever they're planning." Sarah's hand tightened around the armrest of her chair. This wasn't just a battle anymore. It was a race. A race to finish the fight before the aliens could unleash whatever they were preparing. "Prepare all weapons," Sarah ordered firmly. "We're going in. No turning back. Let's end this." The tension on the ship was palpable as Earth's fleet accelerated towards the outer system. Each ship was ready, their weapons powered up, their crews waiting for the signal. But Sarah's mind was heavy with the knowledge that the final confrontation was about to unfold. She had fought in many battles, but this one felt different. It wasn't just a matter of victory. It was a matter of survival for the galaxy. As they approached the alien base, the first signs of the enemy's final weapon began to appear. Massive energy surges erupted from the aliens' hidden base, disrupting nearby stars and causing gravitational waves to ripple outward. The skies lit up as Zorath's forces unleashed their secret weapon, a massive energy beam capable of obliterating entire fleets in an instant. "Brace for impact," Sarah shouted. "We're not letting them destroy us." The battle for the galaxy had just begun, and Earth's fleet was on the front lines. Every member of the human crew knew what was at stake. The tide had turned once, but the real war was just starting. And this time, they would not let the aliens get the upper hand again. The space around Earth's fleet seemed to hold its breath. The massive energy beam that had ripped through the outer system moments earlier was a warning, a signal that the aliens had something far more devastating than Earth had ever anticipated. As the shockwaves from the blast rippled through the cosmos, Sarah Winter's heart pounded. Her mind raced as she surveyed the battle ahead. The alien forces were preparing to unleash the full might of their new weapon. And if they succeeded, Earth would be nothing more than ashes in space. "Admiral Winters," Lieutenant Miller called out urgently, "the enemy fleet is regrouping. They're activating their main weapon, and it's charging faster than we can anticipate. We need to move now." Sarah's jaw clenched. She had led her crew through countless battles, but this was unlike anything she had ever faced. The stakes were higher than ever. The alien forces were not just fighting for conquest anymore. They were fighting for survival. If they succeeded in launching that weapon, it would change the course of the galaxy forever. "Target their primary weapon," Sarah ordered, her voice calm despite the storm of emotions brewing inside her. "All ships, prepare to form up. We strike now, or we risk losing everything." Her fleet surged forward, engines roaring. As they formed a tight formation, their weapons primed and ready. The alien forces, however, were not going to go down easily. Zorath, still commanding his hidden fleet, watched with cold, calculating eyes as Earth's ships closed in. He knew the humans were formidable, but he had the advantage of surprise. His weapon was far more advanced, and with it, he could obliterate Earth's fleet in one strike. "Activate the weapon," Zorath commanded, his voice unwavering. The captain of his flagship nodded and began the sequence that would launch their final assault. The massive cannon on his ship, the one designed to destroy entire fleets, hummed with power, its energy growing more intense with every passing second. In the midst of the chaos, Sarah Winter's tactical officer, Lieutenant Miller, analyzed the situation with urgency. "Admiral, we have to take down that weapon now, before it charges fully. We're in range, but it'll be a one-shot chance. If we don't hit it right, they'll take us all down." Sarah took a deep breath and steadied her mind. This was the moment she had been preparing for, the moment when everything could go wrong or right. If they failed to disable the weapon, Earth would be finished. But if they succeeded, they might just turn the tide in their favor. "Fire at will," she ordered, her voice steady. The human ships let loose a barrage of laser fire, the beams cutting through the cold vacuum of space, their targets focused on the alien flagship. The energy blasts hit the outer hull of the ship with a deafening crash, causing explosions to erupt across its surface. Yet, Zorath's ship held firm, its shields absorbing the onslaught. The weapon was still charging, its power core glowing brighter by the second. "Captain, shields are failing," Zorath's second-in-command warned. "The humans' weapons are getting through. We need to activate the defense systems." "Too late," Zorath growled, his eyes darkening. "We're committed. The weapon will fire in 3, 2, 1. Just as the alien ship prepared to unleash its final weapon, a new figure appeared on Sarah Winter's tactical screen. A human ship, unlike any they had ever seen before, appeared from the shadows of space, its sleek, black silhouette cutting through the starry sky. Its weapons flared, but instead of conventional lasers or missiles, it released a series of ion pulses, creating a field of energy that disrupted the aliens' weapon system. "What is that?" Miller gasped, staring at the new arrival. "It's not one of ours," Sarah said, her voice thick with disbelief. "But whoever they are, they just saved us." The mysterious ship seemed to glide effortlessly through the chaos, its weapons focusing on Zorath's flagship. Its ion pulses cracked the alien shields like glass, creating openings for Earth's ships to push through and strike at the heart of the alien fleet. "Now's our chance," Sarah shouted, her voice full of adrenaline. "Engage the enemy fleet. Take them down now, while their weapon is offline." With the alien weapon temporarily disabled, Earth's fleet pressed forward, firing relentlessly. The alien ships, once so confident in their superiority, now found themselves overwhelmed. Earth's ships, though smaller, were faster and more agile. They darted in and out of the enemy fleet, picking off targets with precision. Zorath stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the battle unfold. His anger burned hot, but even he couldn't deny that the humans had outsmarted him. His fleet was crumbling, their remaining ships retreating or being destroyed one by one. "Prepare to retreat," Zorath ordered, his voice cold. "We have failed here, but this is not over. Earth may have won this battle, but they will never win the war." With the alien forces in disarray, Sarah Winters knew the victory was near, but she also knew that this was only the beginning. The alien forces would regroup, they would learn, and they would strike again. This battle, though won, was merely a chapter in a much larger war. "Admiral," Lieutenant Miller said, "we've disabled their weapon. The fleet's broken. We've done it." Sarah exhaled deeply, her heart still pounding from the adrenaline. "We've won the battle, but not the war. Get ready for the next fight. They won't stop until they have Earth." As the human fleet closed in, destroying the last remnants of the alien forces, the mysterious ship that had intervened disappeared as suddenly as it had appeared. It left no trace, no signal, and no indication of who had come to Earth's aid.